Hello everybody, this is Make It Better, and today, as you can see on the title, is Part 0, What If Deku Had a Transfer Quirk? For his the transfer quirk is one of the originals um, that I have come up with. If you find somebody that has find another video, please link it to me because I want to see what they thought of. And so, since this is part 0, it will be talking about his parents, not really him, not yet. And yeah, Itachi, his quirk is regeneration, but unlike what I'm gonna make for Deku, his is actually taking emotions, not physical, just the emotions of pains, like depression, because that's the only one that I can think in my head. He can take that depression of all that person's life and put it into himself, but he doesn't heal. As he heals, he does heal, but in about 2 or 3 weeks, and then he'll come back to himself, and all that emotion will be forever gone, and it will never return to the person, the original owner. So he's been doing that for his years, and yeah, there's some backlash to it. And now Inkle, she's not gonna have her original quirk, but her quirk will be emotion read, and I won't go much detail to it right now, but it pretty much she asks a question, and she'll see the person she asked it to. She'll see what emotion they have and what's the reason they keep hiding it for. And this is actually pretty good to become a therapist, not a hero. Yes, there is therapists in My Hero Academia. So, and I won't go much detail about how they met. Just a few parts. As Inkle is sitting there in her office, and she's one of the top tier therapists. She pretty much gets a lot of heroes coming in, since they do have problems of sacrificing their life in their line of work for their family. So they do have some problems. And today she's expecting somebody named Itachi. As you guys can tell, that's how they're gonna be meeting. And as she was thinking all this, he knocked on the door, and she said, come in." And it's just a regular office. Everything's, if you look up if you looked up just a regular office with some couches, that's what pretty much looked like. And so Itachi just walked in and sat down with his arms crossed and a little bit shaking. And he was informed that she was pretty good with emotional stuff. And this after he had done something pretty bad. And so Inkle, she walked up close, get her notebook, and getting ready to ask him some few questions, like she always have done with others. Just another day of work. But she looks at him, seems kind of cute. Yeah, not like the other pro heroes, but cute. And she asked him, "Well, Mr. Midoriya, what has brought you here?" And as she's doing that, she's using her quirk, and her quirk, it doesn't show anything, but when you look at her eyes, they turn into red originally they're green, but they turn red when she used her power. So that's what's going on. And as Itachi saw that, he breathed in and breathed out and said, "Well, ma'am, a villain had killed my family, all of them." And she's writing all this down. And for Itachi, he actually said, "And have you read what my quirk is?" And she says yes. And she said it's emotional take or transfer. And Itachi said yes. Well, he's moving his hands side to side, kind of like making it worse. And he said, "I did not want to feel that feeling at all, so I reversed it. I took all the pain out and just put it into my family's grave. And yeah, I don't feel anything right now." As Inko looks at him, and she was using her quirk, and he's right. She doesn't see any emotions. She does see a blank spot where emotion should be at. Usually there's like 2 or 1, and she's trying to focus as much as she can, but she still can't see anything. It's just leaving question marks. And so she stopped, turned around, and went to her assistant and tell her assistant, can't read it right, make this one section longer. There's some work to do. And for the assistant, this is the first time ever. Usually it's in record time on solving some of their problems. So she does, and she cleared the whole day. So she walk right back in her office, sat right in front of him, and said, "I have extended your meeting for all day, and no worries, it's not going to be against you. There's something for me I need, and for you as well. We will solve this together, okay?" As Itachi looks at her and said, "Okay, what should I do next?" She said, "How about we start with your background? You can go as far back as you want and see if we can fix this very problem, okay?" And she's looking, her heart is racing a bit because she wants. This is the first time she actually had to ask someone face to face without being able to use her quirk. Now, their feelings, actual feelings. And so Itachi sat there. I guess I can start with how my family is. Since I'm the only one there here, I can let some secrets. Well, ma'am, do I have your word that you will not tell anybody about this? It's personal. And she said, "Yes, of course. In this room, there's no way a cord can go through. No technology can go through. This was meant for secrets. No one knows about this very building unless you have an appointment with me. And I will keep every single secret to myself and no one else. Okay?" And he said, "Okay." here we go. Itachi started with, well, my family, we always had our, you know how quirks, you have your, you start getting your quirk at around 4 or 5. For me and our family, we had it when we were born. So it's a mutation, not a transformation or a miller. And so he says, so my parents and my grandparents, they all have this regeneration, and not the weak kind, the real strong ones. We were once known to become immortal in a certain age. I can even say that I have met my great grandfather and grandmother, and they seemed nice. They were happier just talking to me instead of going outside and talking to the people now. And so our family is actually, we can live for almost thousands of years. And so we have a few techniques. No, I won't say anything about that. And so as generations pass by, we do, our quirk does change. Did I say 4? I say 4 generation before. They had regeneration, and they can pretty quickly, they cut off their arms and grow right back in 5 minutes. And then the next generation, their kids, they do the same thing and be in 5 seconds. No matter how hard they train, it's always the same amount of time. That's 3. And then his grandparents, and they were able to cut off their arms and not feel the pain, and it grew right back in 5 seconds, and start feeling other people's pain, and they couldn't really tell why, but they felt other people's pain, not by just looking at it and just reacting, but they actually felt that stab wound in their arms as long as they touched their hand. And then his parents were able to take the pain, and they took the pain of minor wounds, the kind of wounds that will heal in about 7 months or a year at the very least, at the very most, and they will heal it as much as they can. But for them, it was really draining, and they couldn't really walk. They had to use their quirk, focus on it to heal it. And for a whole year, they have it to heal it. Like the doctor would say a sprained ankle takes about 3 weeks, 3 months. They'll take it. It would be that same amount, but it would be 100% healed for the person and for them. And now Itachi, he's the only child. Now he's the only child. And he was the only one that's actually immoral. Since everybody else had died, their quirks went right towards him. They were giving him more power. And he felt he got the power, but he didn't want it. He didn't want it at all. He just wanted to be there and with his family. He wanted to die with them. He was actually trying to kill himself just to be with his family again. And so he tried multiple times, so many times, and to a point where their neighbors called the cops and said there's a lot of blood and they smell iron. And the cops came by and saw Itachi just stabbing himself over and over and over again, crying out, and I want to be with them, I want to be with them. But every time he pulled the blade out, it healed immediately. So he did it again. Pull it right out, and there's no a short blade. It's one of those blades. It's a short sword. It was as long as his leg. Well, a foot long, a blade. So he stabbed in his heart, and the officer pretty much had to detain him, move his arms right in the back, and Itachi keeps breaking them and breaking his arms along with it, since those handcuffs were meant for quirk people, and usually they have enhancements, so they were really strong. So he breaks his arms and he regrows them, grabbed the very sword, and kept doing it. This time he was actually cutting through his stomach from one side to the other. Oh dang, that hurt. And then they call in a pro hero called Eraserhead. No one knows what he does, but as he came in, it stopped him, and then he passed out. Both Isashi and Aizawa passed out, since it used up a lot of his power to stop Itachi to weaken him. And he felt so much pain, he just accidentally spread out his emotions to everybody and 100 feet away. So everybody felt that pain and started crying. It was one of the worst days. The cops, the neighbors, the pro heroes, they were coming in. It felt. And then he said, and then I came here. And I wasn't really... Yeah. Thankfully I killed myself over 300 times. He gave it a little smile and just say, yeah, I guess that'll be it. And this took 4 hours for him to explain that much. And she had said she's tearing up as well. Inko is tearing up. She has been doing this for over 10 years, and she's starting to tearing up. She heard so much bad stuff from pro heroes, but what she just heard from Itachi broke her heart, and said, "Is it alright if I just give you a hug?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." And so she just got in close and gave him a hug as tightly as possible, and said, "Everything will be okay. I'll fix it. I'll help you with this." And it fades out, and out of her office, the assistant was hearing a bit of it and started bawling and crying, and then she had to clock out early and going back home. And she felt sick to her stomach too. And as the scene fades out, it says, "In 3 years." Okay, everybody, that's for part 0. I know it seems dark, but it's not for kids. So if anybody heard that, if any kids were there, I'm sorry. And yeah, I'm just making it worse. And now the next part 1, will be actually about Zuko. And they will get married. Of course they will. Thank you for listening, whoever is out there. And I will name you guys out the next video if I ever have follows. Alright then. Goodbye.